But let's start with the New York Jets, who played last night in a preseason game after a week of scrimmages with the Washington Redskins. And Sam Darnold looked okay as a starter. Okay. You know, he was sacked twice. He threw a pick. He was okay. And yet, considering the duress he was under, considering he's playing against the ones from the Washington Redskins, considering how quickly he got and disseminated the information coming from the sideline, got in and out of the huddle, if you actually watched, Sam Darnold looked like he's going to be able to get it done. He looked like he's going to be able to make it. But he was also under pressure. They didn't have their starting right guard. They didn't have the starting left tackle. I want you to, don't do this if you're driving, but if you're sitting at home watching us on FS1, close your eyes and try and picture who the skill position players are for the New York Jets. You might be able to name Robbie Anderson only because Robbie Anderson said some awful things to a police officer when he was arrested once. Jermaine Kearse, you're like, ooh, I kind of remember. Didn't he play for the Seahawks once? Terrell Pryor used to be a quarterback and used to be a Redskin as well as a Brown. Outside of that, the tight end group is about as bad and as no-name as you have in the National Football League. Matter of fact, if I told you Tomlinson, you'd be like, didn't LT retire after he was a Jet, after he was a Charger? Yes, that's not the Tomlinson. Isaiah Crowell, never lived up to his hype coming out of high school. Bilal Powell, yes, and Thomas Rawls, okay. Dude, that is as no-name a group as possible. If Bilal Powell or Eric Tomlinson was sitting right there on that couch and they told me who they were, I would still say, congratulations, what do you do for a living? When I tell you that you shouldn't start Sam Darnold if you're the New York Jets, it has nothing to do with Sam Darnold. He is kind of an old soul, right? He just turned 21. He only started a year and 3 quarters at SC, but he does feel like he has a balance about him. I've sat in this very same chair and told you that there's a difference between San Clemente, where he grew up, and Manhattan Beach, where Josh Rosen grew up. And if you look at their two personalities, the blue-collar kind of nature, things just kind of roll off your back. It fits better to be a leader of a franchise, what Sam Darnold has to offer, as opposed to what Josh Rosen has to offer. And I think where they were brought up, how they were brought up, is a big reason why. And their personalities in general. Sometimes it's not where you. Sometimes it's not nurture. It is in fact nature. Like, I like Sam Darnold, but man, you got a chance to screw this thing up. Whether you want to reference David Carr in 2002 that seemed to take 1 million sacks and never recovered, or even if you look at the Cleveland Browns. Did the Cleveland Browns screw up a couple years ago by not selecting Carson Wentz? The answer would be probably yeah, right? Like the Browns had to reach for a need and went and got Baker Mayfield. And if they had Carson Wentz, maybe the entire trajectory of their franchise would be different. Or maybe it wouldn't. I mentioned to you Terrell Pryor, right? Here's how much you can screw up a quarterback if you start him too early behind an awful offensive line. Would Carson Wentz be Carson Wentz if he started for the Browns? Remember, that Browns team, going back just 2 seasons ago, started Robert Griffin, Kevin Hogan, Cody Kessler. Of course, Kaiser was last year. Terrell Pryor even threw passes for them that season. So did Charlie Whitehurst. I mean, look at what they have there. Look at what they did. This was 2 seasons ago. All the guys that threw passes, threw at least 5 pass attempts, and I know Terrell Pryor he was transitioning to being a wide receiver after being a quarterback with the Oakland Raiders. The point is that even though Robert Griffin's fighting for a spot in the NFL, Kevin Hogan, Cody Kessler, Deshaun, these guys are lifer backups. Had you put Carson Wentz in that very same position, I'm not sure even Carson Wentz could have succeeded or survived. Like, you're better off letting Sam Darnold sit. I'm not saying you redshirt him the entire season, but do you want to throw him to the Wolves right away when everybody else is at full strength? Regardless of what you think of the talent of the teams like the Browns and the Lions that they're going to face the first couple weeks of the season when they play 3 games in 10 days, that will be the best of those teams because they'll be at as full a strength as possible. Look, offensive lines take the longest to come together. Teams don't hit as much. The offensive lines can't work together as much. And this is a bad offensive line that's been made worse by injury, and we don't know how healthy they'll be week 1 of the season. And my fear is that we never find out how good Sam Darnold could be because you put him behind a group and throwing to a group or handing off to a group that isn't up to his level. And so he's left to his own devices to do it on his own, to try and make plays, and that's when you get hurt, you have turnovers, and when you have these two things, a reputation is established, and that's really, really hard to climb out of. It just is. What I saw last night, what my eyes told me was the Pats were making a statement. They were putting a finger in the air. It was the middle finger. I couldn't tell whether it was directed at the league, at the anti-Patriot narrative, or at the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think the answer is probably D, right? Which we're always taught in school. And once you see all of the above, always go with all of the above. I think it was all of the above. Tom Brady played the entire first half last night. Seemed weird, didn't it? Like, why is Tom Brady still out there? Because they were trying to prove a point. They were trying to point out, hey, man, Philadelphia, we're still here. It's a little different when you're the champs. To those people who said there's some rift between Belichick and Brady, every marriage has fights. Every marriage has screaming matches at some point. You're together long enough, the other person is going to absolutely wear you out. But you've still been together this long. There still is the love, the appreciation for one another, all the things you've been with, the reasons you got together to begin with. Like, I kind of think I don't kind of think, I know. That was a statement. Hey, still the Pats. Do we have Edelman first 4 weeks of the season? No. But when we do, he's going to be a beast. He's still got something in the tank. Was our defense great last year? No. But look how we've changed it. Now Brian Flores is our defensive coordinator. And though there's not a lot of game playing and scheming, those dudes got after it. That defense played fast last night, especially on the edge. Don't believe me? Nick Foles hurts his shoulder. We'll update you when we find out how bad that shoulder. Strip, sack, fumble. The defense was making plays. The offense had multiple threats at running back. Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does. Spread you out, find the mismatch, find his guys. Brady playing the entire first half, the Patriots seemingly running it up a little bit against the Eagles was a statement. It wasn't the index finger, it was the middle finger. You think we're done? You think we're old? You think we're dysfunctional? You think we care about Malcolm Butler who doesn't play here anymore? Okay. You come into New England, you come out with the L. That's the way it works. This isn't reading the tea leaves. This is body language, style of play, and why the hell is Tom Brady still out there? There's a reason. Statement made. I got it. And, oh yeah, by the way, to the Philadelphia Eagles, this isn't the only time you're going to get the best of somebody else. You want to have somebody wants to buy a billboard on the way for us to the stadium. You want to talk trash to us at the victory parade. Hey, dude, we've been through 5 victory parades. We've lost Super Bowls before. We still come back and won double-digit games. We went 10 years without winning a Super Bowl. Doesn't matter. We're still going to win 10 games, going to get to the playoffs. We're going to be there. We don't know if you'll be there.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.